Hey everybody, this lesson is going to be on a review of the elements of design. I will be going pretty fast through this review, so if you would like to slow it down, or I'm going too fast for you, or you'd like to review a little bit more, feel free to. You can pause the video, you can also look through the PowerPoint that's on Canvas, look through the notes, things like that, but like I said, because this is a review, I am going to be going a little bit faster than what I normally would, just so you are prepared. So what are the elements of design? There are 8 of them. We went over this in class, remember? So we got line, space, shape, form, texture, pattern, light, and color. There are 4 types of line: vertical, horizontal, curved, and diagonal. And all 4 of these types of lines create different feelings. And so based on what kind of feeling and portrayal of that feeling that you would like to create in your space, you need to be aware of that when you are choosing the pieces that you put in there or the architecture that you are looking towards, because it's going to create certain feelings in that space. Vertical lines, they run up and down and they create feelings of height, strength, and formality. These are personally the lines that I am most drawn to. I've always liked really tall ceilings. I've liked vaulted ceilings. I love this window in this picture. And so I've always been an organized kind of to the point type person, which my personality alone I feel like is more drawn to vertical lines. But that's just me. And so I am more drawn to this kind of design when I'm choosing things. Here are some examples of vertical lines being used in the shiplap on the walls, the windows above the doors, and then in the next picture, this is not necessarily being used in the like stripes per se. Stripes and lines are obviously the easiest way to see line because it's so obvious, but you can create lines with the shapes of things and the direction things lay. So this picture is an example of vertical lines because of the windows, the tall windows, the curtains, the bedposts on the bed, the bookshelves on the side of the windows. Those are all examples of vertical lines. Horizontal lines run from left to right and they are across the horizon. They create feelings of being restful and they're informal. I always remember this one as being restful because when you lay down, you're resting, and horizontal lines lay down. So here are some examples of horizontal lines being used in the paintings on the painting on the wall. You can see it's a very subtle stripes, and then you also have it in the way the window seat is sitting, and then the horizontal lines on the rug as well. In the next picture, you have it in the wood, the way that the wood is pressed together on the barn door, and then even the hardware that the barn door slides across is an example of a horizontal line. Then we have curved lines. This is a line that deviates from straightness in a smooth, continuous fashion. It creates feelings of softness, playfulness, and serenity. It's a very calming line. It's the way that the curves make you feel. You can see that this room uses the curved lines repeatedly throughout their design. They have it in their round bathtub, the way the wall is shaped. They have it in the round curtain rod and the way the curtains drape downwards. You have it in the vanity, in the mirror, even in the shape of the toilet. This is and then the stair as well. This is a European bathroom. Everyone always asks me why the toilet looks like that and why it's weird. Most European bathrooms have the tanks above the toilet, like you see in this photo. Here you have some more curved lines being shown. Okay, then we have the other set of my favorite lines, which is diagonal lines. These are straight lines that are neither horizontal or vertical, and they create feelings of action, movement, and excitement. This is, you can see the diagonal lines being used in the flooring of this space, and this is actually called a herringbone pattern, and it's one of my favorite patterns to use for flooring. Here you have it in the stripes on the wall going down the stairs. In the next photo, you have it in the mirror. Too many lines can lead to continuous eye movement, which causes feelings of tiredness and frustration. So make sure that when you pick a line, you are doing it mostly subtle, with subtle things, and you're not overusing too many lines because it is exhausting, like the following images I'm going to show you. This one's just bad in every single way it could possibly be bad, and you can tell that there are so many different uses of line in this image. Here you have it in this one as well, which is also terrible, but the biggest flaw here is that everything is so bold. They have a very bold orange, they have very bold black, and it's all in stripes, and it's gross. Okay, then we have the space. This is the area in which the designer works. So if you hire a designer to work in your bathroom is your space. If you hire a designer to work in your kitchen, their space is the kitchen. If you have them do the entire house, the whole house is their space. Positive space is filled space, and negative space is empty space. To expand the look of space, you can use light and cool colors, mirrors, smooth textures, smaller scale furniture, and less furniture. And to enclose space, you can use dark and warm colors, rough textures, large scale furniture, and accessories. Here are some examples of space being used above the kitchen sink. In the first image, you see the use of negative space, how there is nothing above the sink. In the second image, you can see the use of positive space with the shelving and the decorations used above the sink and above the backsplash. Here we have an example of a small room that they have used to, they've expanded the look of their space by using light colors, smaller scale furniture. They've used less wall decorations, and then they have their closet doors from floor to ceiling as mirrors, and mirrors always open up the space, and then they're also using smooth texture. Here you have another small living room that's using small scale furniture to kind of open the space a little bit. Shape and form. Shape is the two-dimensional outline of an object, like a square, circle, triangle, or rectangle, and form is a three-dimensional object, so your cones, cylinders, spheres, cubes, prisms, etc. 2D and 3D. Shape is 2D, form is 3D. Texture is the surface quality of objects. It can be both seen visual and felt, tactile. A rough texture absorbs light. It is considered informal, and it can be both visually or tactily rough. Smooth texture reflects light. Formal is formal, and it can be both visually or tactily smooth. I'm going to show you some examples of smooth texture being used throughout design. You can see in that bathroom, pretty much everything in that bathroom is using smooth texture. In the second picture, you can see the smooth textures being used in the vases as well as the smooth tabletop. Here we have some examples of rough texture being used in the brick walls, the vase, and the basket. Here we have an example of rough texture being used in this kitchen using rough texture in the sink, rough texture on the backsplash, and rough texture on the wood cabinets. Then in the next picture you have the opposite. You have smooth texture in the backsplash, smooth on the sink, and smooth on the cabinets. Pattern is the repetition of color, lines, shape, or design across a surface to create visual interest. The pattern is being shown on these stairs. Light makes things visible through illumination by either nature, so the sun, moon, or fire, or electrical devices. And we do talk about different types of lighting and the different effects that those lighting have when we get to that portion of this class. Color. We're going to go through this one real fast because we've gone through color and we spent weeks on color in Interior Design 1. So remember that color can alter the appearance of form and space and affect our performance, abilities, and change our moods. The color wheel is the most commonly used tool to understand the basis of all color relationships, and it consists of the three types of color. Your primary, which are red, yellow, and blue. Your secondary, which are orange, green, and violet. And your tertiary, which are yellow, green, yellow, orange, red, violet, blue, violet, and blue, green. Remember, you get your secondary colors by mixing your primary colors. You mix together red and yellow to get orange. You mix together blue and red to get violet, and you mix together you mix together blue and yellow to get green. Then you mix together your primary and your secondary colors, and that's what gives you your tertiary colors. Remember, a tone is the color plus gray, a tint is the color plus white, and a shade is the color plus black. Your warm colors are like the sun, and so those are your red, yellow, orange, yellow, orange, and red, violet. They do make your rooms appear smaller and cozy. Here are some examples of warm colors being used in design. Then you have your cool colors. These colors are more associated with water and air, and these are going to be green, blue, violet, blue-green, blue-violet, and yellow-green. And they are associated with water, peace, and restfulness, and these colors are receding, so they make rooms appear larger and more spacious. Here are some examples of cool colors being used in design. Neutral colors, these colors are not found on the color wheel, but they are usually the base of your decorating. Brown, tan, white, black, and gray. The reason they are your base is because they are very subtle. They can, you can match a lot of different things with them, and it's always easy to buy more accessories than it is to change wall colors. So a lot of the time people will paint their walls a neutral color, and then they decorate around it. Okay, color schemes. Sorry guys, I can't stop yawning today. Your monochromatic color scheme is a color scheme that uses the tints, tones, and shades of one color. Your analogous color scheme is a color scheme that uses 3 to 5 colors directly next to each other on the color wheel. Your direct complement is the color scheme that uses colors directly across from each other on the color wheel. Your split complement is a color scheme that uses a color, and then instead of its direct complement, it uses the 2 on each side of its complement. So if you pick blue-green, its direct complement is red-orange. So instead of choosing red-orange, you choose the 2 on each side, the 1 on each side. So you choose red and orange. Here's an example of that being used. A double complement is a color scheme that uses 4 colors arranged in 2 complementary color pairs. I have yet to be able to find a space that uses this color scheme, and I like, but if you're able to find one, go for you. A triad is a color scheme that uses 3 colors equal distant on the color wheel, and this one is using red, blue, and yellow. They're equal distance because there are 3 colors in between each color, and then you use 3 colors. That's why it's called a triad. Neutral is a color scheme using browns or metallics such as gold, silver, and bronze. A very, very popular look right now with the whole minimalistic interior design style that is really, really popular. Then you have your accent and neutral, another very popular color scheme. This is a color scheme that uses a neutral with only 1 accent color. So in this space, you can see that the accent color they've chosen to use is blushes and pinks. Then you have achromatic. Achromatic is a color scheme using black, white, and or gray. Here's an example of those being used, and that's also another very popular choice. Black is a very popular choice right now. It's becoming, it's being used often in interior design. Color is affected by texture, artificial lighting, and natural lighting. And now you guys are going to go on and finish your PowerPoint presentation that you were assigned last time with principles. You will finish off your principles, and then you will need to do your elements. It's going to be the same thing as your principles, only there are 8 elements instead of 6. And you will just move, it'll be in the exact same PowerPoint, so as soon as you finish your principles, you're just going to move right into the elements. And remember that some have different types. Well, elements don't really have different types, so you're fine. Principles are the only thing that have the different types. And then so you should remember you should have around 25 to 30 slides when you're finished. And for your slide on color, you can just show one example of color since color is so vast. So like as an example, I would pick maybe your favorite color scheme that you like to see and just say this is color and I'm showing my favorite color scheme. And then you're going to submit the finished PowerPoint on Canvas by the due date. If you have any questions at all, feel free to send me an email or shoot me a message on Canvas, and I can help you out.